What's going on, guys? In this video, we're getting into 5 things you must do before you get into a serious relationship with a girl. Before we get into that, my name's Keith. I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. So let's get into this, the 5 things that you need to do before you get into a serious relationship with a girl. It was Napoleon Hill who actually said that the reason that men very rarely start making a lot of money before about 40 years of age, if they ever do, is because they cannot seem to control their sex drive, and they spend their early years chasing after women and all these things before they're really ready to be doing that. Or they just simply don't learn how to control that drive and use it for more productive things. And I've watched this happen with myself and with friends of mine. I'll get into a relationship before I'm ready to because I end up liking the girl or something like that, or I've seen other guys do this, and it ends up being a bad situation all the way around. Nothing works out as you expect because you're simply not ready to do it. I think this might be the biggest reason that relationship problems exist, is because the guy jumps into a relationship before he's ready to be there, because especially for a man, there are certain things you need to be able to do before you get into a relationship. The first of these being, you need to have a primary source of income that you enjoy, so that it's something you see yourself continuing with and expanding in, that can provide for you and ultimately for somebody else, all right? So many guys make this mistake. I've made this mistake. Before you're in a really good financial spot, jumping into a relationship with a woman. And the reason this is a problem is for, obvious reasons, right? If you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of her? That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you don't have financial stability, you're just not going to look like a man in her eyes. She's not going to look at you the way you want to be looked at. And I'm not saying it's all about the money, but as a man, one of the primary things you're supposed to do is provide and protect. And if you can't provide, then she just isn't going to look at you the way you want to be looked at as a man in a relationship. Also, it just puts a lot of volatility and insecurity into the situation, because as a man, oftentimes we put value on our ability to put money in the bank. And so if we're not doing that, we start comparing ourselves to other guys, and we get insecure in the relationship, and jealousy creeps in and all these other things. Plus, if you're not ready financially, you don't know what your future holds, so you can't plan for the future very effectively. So it is very important that before you get into a serious relationship with a woman, you have some sort of source of income that provides for you. Now, this is slightly different if you're in college, and that's because in college, perhaps you're going to get out of school and already have a job that pays you decently. So if you're in a relationship with a girl in college, that's a little bit different because you're not expected to have the same things going on. But I'm saying this for guys who aren't in college right now. Second thing, you need to have a vision for your life, all right? What kinds of things you want in your life? How do you want your life to go? Where do you want to be in 10 years? All these different questions need to be answered, because you can't plan for a future with somebody if you don't know what your future is going to be and you don't have an idea for what that is, because you two are going to end up growing apart if there's not a clarity around the kinds of things that you want in your life. Like, for example, maybe she wants to be have like a middle class kind of lifestyle, and she doesn't really want to go out and pursue a lot of different things, and you're, on the other hand, you want to have a really big impact on the world through some business you're building, and you want to have be like a public figure, maybe be involved in politics or something like that, or even vice versa. That's going to end up causing friction. You're going to end up resenting each other because of that. So you need to have clarity on the vision of where you're going with your life, and be clear on purpose for your life so that you can include her in that. Because if you don't have that figured out, it's going to cause you're going to end up kind of going with the wind. She's not going to respect you for that. The whole thing's going to not go the way you want it to go, ideally. The third thing is to have clarity around what you want in the relationship, all right? So if you're not in a spot where you're looking for a long-term relationship and you just want something casual, you need to be clear on that. You need to be upfront on it. If you're looking for something serious, you need to lay down your boundaries and expectations for that. Things like just things that you expect from somebody in a serious relationship with you. Just be clear on these things up front so that you don't get caught by surprise. So many guys, and I've fallen victim to this, we don't really know exactly what we want when we get into the relationship, and next thing you know, she's kind of just calling the shots and telling you how things are going to go, and you just keep going along with it, trying to make her happy. And this just does not end well for a guy. Can't be doing this. This is a bad mistake. You need to have clarity around what you want, and if you two are not on the same page about it, you just got to accept that and move on. Someone will be on the same page as you. It doesn't do you any good to try and salvage something that's not going to work. The fourth thing, have a great social circle, all right? This is going to help you get guys. have this thing when they get in relationships where they cut out all their friends. The guys end up doing this. The girl kind of does it to them, not on purpose, I don't think necessarily, but it just happens that the guy ends up removing a lot of people from his life when he gets this girl and spends all his time with her. And that's why he gets a lot more needy. He ends up, like, if a breakup happens, he ends up being a lot more alone, and she has a lot easier time moving on because, first of all, you just don't have the support system she has, and second of all, it's just easier for a girl to find another guy than it is for a guy to find another girl unless you have really killed it in your life. And so what happens is if you have a great social circle, it's going to help you keep off the neediness, right? Because you have other people to hang out with, and you need to prioritize your social circle while you're in the relationship. You can't let that go away. You got to keep that around. She can be around for some of that, but you need to have good male friends that you can hang out with and talk about things with, because you don't want to use your woman as an emotional tampon for you. She's not going to like that. And also, you just can't talk about everything with your girl that you talk about with your guy friends, and you need these guys around to help you see things more clearly, as well as just keep you from being that needy, insecure guy. And if anything does go wrong, you've got a support system around you. So it's important to have a good social circle established. It just makes you a more well-rounded man in general. The fifth and final thing you need to have is you need to have experience dating before doing something serious, okay? I'd recommend that, because here's what's going to happen. This is what happens to a lot of guys. First time they get any real attention from a girl, because I've made a video explaining how this works, but guys hit their like sexual market value peak later than women, just because of the things that men are more valued for. So if you're like in your early 20s as a man, you don't really have shit figured out for yourself. You're still trying to figure it out. And like a lot of guys aren't even trying to figure it out. But if you, let's say you're the kind of guy who's trying to figure this shit out, right? And you're in your early 20s. You still don't have a lot of assets for the most part. And you still don't have a ton of clarity for the most part. But then you end up meeting a girl and you give her just enough of the kinds of things that attract her to the point where you end up kind of stumbling into this relationship with her because she's the first girl that showed you any real attention in a while. And next thing you know, you're in this relationship and you're in a needy spot and you don't understand your value in this situation. You don't recognize it. And you've only got a few people that you have experience with in relationships, if any. And so you're just completely lost and confused. And this situation ends really badly, which is why I recommend that what's going to happen when you focus on these things, when you build a source of income, when you build the body, which I talk about doing in a lot of videos, when you have these other things going on in your life and you have a well-rounded life and you're a real masculine, attractive man, the women are going to be attracted to you. A lot of women are going to be attracted to you. So you shouldn't settle for the first girl who comes to you, because you just don't have enough. And every guy thinks it. I thought it at the time too when I had the first girlfriend I ever dated. You think that the girl is just perfect for you, but you have no experience to know if that's true or not, and you have no experience in relationships. So I recommend you spend at least 3 months, once you've figured all these things out, just dating casually, talking to multiple women at a time, not trying to find something serious, and just put in a rule that you're not going to try and date someone seriously and exclusively for at least 3 months, maybe longer, just so that you can get a feel for the fact that, okay, like I'm actually like an attractive guy who's capable of having a legitimate relationship and I can get plenty of girls. And that gets you in a position where you're not needy. So if the relationship you're in isn't going the way you want it to, you have the awareness to know that you're capable of getting another woman. Whereas if you just go with the first girl that shows you interest, you just don't have that mentally in your mind, that idea that you're capable of attracting other women. So you're a lot more needy and you put up with a lot of stuff you shouldn't put up with. Get it into your head that you're an attractive guy who's capable of having a relationship with a woman, so that if your relationship you end up getting into isn't working right, you feel a lot more confident to end that relationship and go find something that suits you better. Guys, that's all I got for this video. If you liked this video, give me a like so I can reach more guys with my message. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video, and I'll talk soon.